Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Neptune's Child Tarot. Thank you all so much for being here, for your continued love and support here on the channel. For those of you that are new, welcome. You may also want to check out my main tarot channel, Moon Moth Goddess, where I do have a bunch of other readings posted over there as well. I do also have channel memberships available for those of you that are interested in receiving additional content. Please do make sure that you join the tier for this channel that is labeled Starborn, as that is the tier that is going to give you access to those exclusive members only pick your cards. I'm also available for private readings for those of you that are wanting one of those for me to look into your energy specifically. You can find my email down below in the description box. Just send me an email and I will provide you with more information on booking readings as well as the other services that I do provide. So today's pick your card reading, we are doing what creative dream needs your attention. Okay, so this could certainly be something that has been kind of floating around your subconscious. It could be something that you find yourself daydreaming about and are wanting to bring into physical manifestation. It could be something that you've been maybe putting off or even thinking about for a long while, and it is something that is wanting to come to the surface, to bring into your conscious awareness for you to maybe start taking action towards bringing that into manifestation. I also like to think of this in terms of being connected to your inner child, which does have infinite potential. Also, the subconscious mind can, have many different desires and thoughts and feelings and emotions, ideas about wanting to experience something. So I do feel like it's important for everyone to just kind of take some time to reflect when you're able to, and maybe journaling ideas and things like that you think about that come across your mind every now and again, and really kind of thinking about when you think of that idea, what types of feelings, emotions are coming up within you about you creating that happiness, joy, fulfillment. And so really working towards making that a focus to, like I said, bring that into physical manifestation. So what creative dream needs your attention? I did a practice reading for myself yesterday, and it came out pretty good. So I was like, okay, let's do this for collective. So we do have 3 choices for you guys today. If you do by chance feel drawn to more than one group, that is perfectly okay. You may have messages that kind of go across, because it's certainly possible for us to have more than one creative dream that we think about. So if you want to listen to all 3 and then just kind of see what messages resonate for you, that is certainly okay, whatever you feel guided to do today. So for group number 1, we have this shell here. I'm sorry, you guys can hear my dog in the background. So group 1, that is your shell. Group 2, you have this little starfish. And group 3, you have this one here. I might try to look, I don't know if these each have like different names for these shells, but I'll try to see if I can find names for them. That is for group 3. Okay, so pause the video if you need a little bit more time to meditate on the groups. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3. Timestamps will be down below, and I will see you guys at your reading. Hi, Group 1. So those of you that resonated with this little shell here, is this a clam shell? I'm not sure. but this is your group here. So we're asking today, what creative dream needs your attention? So let's take a look. It's just going to take me a moment too to kind of get these cards organized so they fit properly on the table. Those are your tarot. And if you are wanting to know what tarot oracle decks I'm using for the reading today, then I always list them in the description box for you guys. So let's see, we have card number 33, Embody Ancient Wisdom. We have Inner Alchemy. Let's see if I have to. Yeah, I do have to cover this one a little bit. We have Release. May you lay down your burdens. And let me just grab a little crystal, but she's actually laying down in one of these little shells. So let's see. Inner Alchemy. Might have to put this one on the bottom because it's a little longer. We have She Who Flows. Ease, being open to change and go with the flow of life. We have the Law of Perfect Health. Listen to the divine guidance within your body. I'm going to put this in here. We have the Enchanted Forest. Nervous system support, deep breath, and grounding. Okay. We have Spin the Silken Thread Divine, which is card number 30. I am going to have to cover this one a little bit too. And then we have House 12. Spirituality, transcendence, karma, sacrificial service, and healing. So I'll have to get a little sticky note for the other card. We have the Ace of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles, and then we have the Knight of Cups. Let's see if we can move these down. And then let me grab a little. It's too bad. This deck is so beautiful. So Spin the Silken Thread Divine. Number 30. Okay, so our question today is, what creative dream needs your attention? And I feel like there's actually kind of like multiple things going on in what Spirit is kind of communicating here. And I feel like first and foremost, the most important is your well-being, because there's two cards here. The Law of Perfect Health, listen to the divine guidance within your body. And then you have the Enchanted Forest here, which says nervous system support, deep breath, and also grounding. Because I feel that Spirit is kind of acknowledging that those of you that chose this group, there could certainly be things that are kind of going on within your personal life, or even certain feelings, emotions that are coming up in your awareness. And these things may be causing you to feel a little bit out of balance, out of alignment, because we are talking about the nervous system. And so sometimes if there's a lot of stuff going on, right, in our personal life, or even if you have had a life that has been quite challenging, or even have gone through maybe even some type of traumas, the body kind of holds on to those emotions at times if we're not really working towards releasing the pain or sadness or anger or resentment, rage, any of those emotions that can kind of fluctuate depending on what types of situations we've gone through. And so sometimes even after we've gone through an event in our life, the nervous system might feel not very calm. It might feel just very kind of like on edge, especially for those of you that have experienced kind of being in fight or flight, where you feel hyper vigilant, you feel on edge, you feel anxious, you feel like you can't relax. And so I feel like this is certainly something where Spirit is trying to help you to get to a place where you can connect into those creative visions, dreams that you want to create, but it's more or less about you being in a state of calm, grounded energy. And so this inner alchemy, if you notice, what I can show, where she's just kind of like curled up in the little shell here, and she looks like she's sleeping, like she's taking a rest, and her little shell is right in the middle of all of that ocean water that's just kind of like moving around. And so she kind of has that surface in the shell where she can just be still and calm. It reminds me a lot of the King of Cups, where if you're familiar with the traditional Rider-Waite deck with the King of Cups, how his chair is a beautiful, solid, stable chair, but it's also in the middle of the ocean. And so the King of Cups is about emotional stability, even amongst the difficult feelings, emotions that we might be going through. It's us learning how to master our emotions. And so the inner alchemy card here is about your ability to kind of bring yourself back to centered, back to groundedness. And perhaps for some of you, that might be one of your creative dreams that you have, is to be able to navigate the emotions that you could be going through, because you could be someone who, when things kind of happen in life, you might be someone who's very energy sensitive. So if it's like, say, stuff going on in the workplace, or stuff that's going on in your home environment, excuse me, stuff that's going on in your home environment, and you get very easily affected by the energy that's there, even when going out in public or being in certain spaces or being around people in general, you might be someone who, I'm also getting kind of like those of you that resonate as an empath, where you kind of pick up on and maybe sometimes absorb, right? Until we really learn how to master that boundaries, energetic boundaries, where you could be someone who does get very easily influenced or affected by certain things that are going on in your environment, or even things that are kind of coming up within your own body, right? And so maybe for some of you, it's wanting to be able to have better mental or emotional well-being, or to not get so worked up over certain things that are happening in life. I know sometimes I feel like that too, because I do have an anxiety disorder. So I have to be like on top of my energy, especially with doing this every day for clients and for doing the readings for you all. I have to make sure that my energy is like on point every day. And so I have to constantly ground and clear. And if I do somebody's reading and it was a reading that was really emotional, I have to release that energy. I have to go for a walk. I have to go sit outside. I have to kind of not take on that reading's energy as my own, and constantly work to re-stabilize and ground myself. And then when I do have stuff going on, of course, with my personal life, I'm an overthinker, so I will have like thoughts about something, ruminating thoughts about something that'll just kind of throw me off. So I have to reel myself back in and get better and better about being able to navigate those things. Or even if you're talking to someone, right? And that person's upset or they're angry or they're emotional about something, or if they're directing certain energy at you, it's you learning how to set those energetic boundaries and be better about being able to handle and bring yourself back to grounded. So, like I said, maybe for some of you, it is, the creative dream that you have, that you maybe wish that you wouldn't be so easily affected by certain things that are happening in your life, where, you could just be in your own space, in your own energy, and not let things kind of throw you off, Before I even started getting into spirituality, before I had my spiritual awakening, my anxiety was really bad, to the point where I couldn't leave the house, or I wouldn't leave the house. It would be hard for me to be around people in public, and it was really challenging. Um, and I remember that if I would get upset, if there was a family member or some kind of stuff going on, and I would be affected for weeks, sometimes like a month, where I would just be completely taken in by whatever was going on. And it would affect me to the point where I felt like I couldn't function. And so I've learned a lot, of course, since then, of how to, have better boundaries with certain people, and learn how to bring myself back to grounded, back to center, so that it's not affecting my sleep, my eating, um, my way of thinking, because sometimes your mind can just be littered and with a bunch of negative thoughts or self-sabotaging thoughts. So I really feel, the spirit is definitely making a point here about that, where maybe this is for you, where you wish that you could be able to focus on what you want to create, but it's also wishing that there can be certain where you have more control. You have more control over your mind or your feelings, your emotions, to be able to get even into that state, for you to be able to just kind of create and move beyond those fluctuating feelings, emotions that at times can kind of completely throw you out of alignment. And so we're seeing this release card here. It says, may you lay down your burdens. And that's just letting it go, right? Not being, not letting all of those things, whatever it might be that you're kind of holding on to, or that you're having to deal with, energetically, whether it's outside influences or, stuff that's kind of coming up for you within yourself, where you could just let it flow, let it out, alchemize the energy, and to kind of bring yourself back into that state, so that you can then get to that point where you are able to create the things that you want to focus on, and not be held back by everything else that's kind of happening. So that's maybe, for some of you, it could be wanting to take better care of your body, to take better care of your health, maybe spend more time in nature. Here we're looking at this enchanted forest with this beautiful little pathway here. And yeah, it's just, it kind of looks like these little beautiful little illuminated little doorways here that are kind of taking one on that path there. And then you have house 12 here, which this is the house of Pisces, ruled by Neptune. Okay. And I'm even seeing in this, because Neptune's influence can bring in a lot of, Neptune Pisces is it can be a beautiful energy, but it's also has a lot of shadow energy to it, just like any other, of the houses. But specifically with Neptune, it can bring in a lot of delusion. a lot of illusions, a lot of very fantasy-like thinking, escapism, disillusionment. But it's also incredibly intuitive and spiritual. And so I'm noticing that there's a little bird cage here with the door that's open. So perhaps some of, and there's your shell. Yeah, look at that. Um, so I'm feeling like there's this element here of freedom, and perhaps that is freedom from, because the 12th house also has a lot of karmic energies, a lot of energies from past lives. And so perhaps there's things that you could be holding on to, for those of you that do believe in past lives, of specifically surrounding karmic energies, whether they're having to do with your interactions with family members or certain people that you share past life connection with, and being able to then transcend those karmic energies so that you feel a sense of freedom, right? A lot of this stuff can be weighing very heavily on you. And so for many of you, this could also be wanting to um, work on your spirituality a little bit more, be more tuned in, be more connected into the intuition. But you might have a whole bunch of other stuff that's kind of going on that's making it hard for you to connect in, hard for you to connect to your higher self. And so it's important for you to be able to ground your energy, and for you to maybe have more time for meditation, have more time for practicing stillness, having more time to connecting in with your higher self, or your inner child, or your inner teenager, so that you're then able to focus on creating the things that inspire you. Okay. You do have Spin the Silken Thread Divine. I want to see what this card is about. So we're going to look. This is from the Kuan Yin Oracle. Number 30. Yeah, and I feel for many of you that chose this pile too. I mean, the creative dream that you have is it may be to live a more spiritual life, or to maybe incorporate more spiritual practice into your daily life. And what I love about that is because you have Embody Ancient Wisdom here. And this is actually the card that came out for me yesterday, when I was doing my own little spread for myself. This card talks about us taking time to look to our ancestral roots, and for us to think about what types of rituals or even spiritual practices our ancestors may have followed, and for us to then kind of incorporate those practices into our lives. That could be pretty powerful for us. So I love that you guys have this card here. So number 30. It says, in creating precious silks, there is a sorting process, sifting out that which is broken to find that which is precious and pure. And I love that, because here it's like you're filtering out all of this heaviness, all of this energy that we no longer need to hold on to, so that you can connect to your most authentic self, to then begin that creative process. With this release card here, may you lay down your burdens. This almost reminds me of like 10 of Wands energy. Okay. 10 of Wands is, when we feel energetic burdens that we're carrying, it could be responsibilities. It could be feeling burned out or stress. So there is also this need for rest. And then you have the Ace of Wands here. And so I always like to think, when I see kind of like 10 of Wands energy and then the Ace of Wands, if you're familiar with what the 10 of Wands card looks like in the Rider-Waite deck, there's a person who's holding on to 10 wands that looks like they're almost like weighing this person down. And so when you have that 10 of Wands kind of feeling, how can you possibly add on another wand? Right? It's like you have to let something go in order for us to feel fresh and clear, and be able to feel that creative spark again and inspiration that the Ace of Wands brings. If we're feeling burnt out, tired, nervous system is just fried, or has us on edge. How can we very well be our best version of self to truly give this creative idea or inspiration that we have the best of ourself to help to bring it to life? So, it could be maybe you wish to feel less stressed out, or that you had more time to work on creative ideas that you have, but you feel like you have so much responsibilities and so much other stuff that's kind of weighing on you energetically that it makes you feel tired. It makes you feel unmotivated. It makes you feel just so off. So you might feel like, I wish that I had more time. I wish that I got better sleep. I wish that I felt less stressed out. I wish that I felt all of these things, so that you can feel where you have the energetic space to take on something that makes you feel good, and you can feel like you can pour yourself into whatever that new thing is, instead of all this other baggage that you could be kind of holding on to. So I love that this is talking about that. It's about your finding, sifting out, right, that which is broken, the energies we no longer need to hold on to, and finding that which is precious and pure. You are commencing a new cycle, beloved, and it is time to allow for that which is more precious and pure, that which you wish to take with you into the future, to continue and to release that which does not align with your true heart. Sometimes we need to help ourselves access the new cycle by releasing vows from this or other lifetimes. And interesting, because you guys have the 12th house here with karma, sacrificial service, and healing. This is also past life energy with the 12th house. Let's see. Releasing old emotional patterns and calling in wisdom and talents from past lifetimes. You are guided to accept this healing now. So it says your past is calling to you. It is calling to be cleared, to be released, and for the beauty and power of the past to be claimed in the present moment. Woven together like a precious, rare silk, all the experiences, mistakes, adventures, and successes in your past, in this and other lifetimes, have given your soul plenty of material from which to draw its wisdom. Like fine silken threads being woven into a beautiful fabric, it has had to grow in awareness, light, capacity, and love in order to be where it is now. You are being guided by Kuan Yin now to realize that your past is nothing to be ashamed of. Even the worst mistakes that you may have judged yourself or others for have been opportunities to really grow in love. The precious silk could not be formed without the rough layers of the cocoon within which the pure thread is spun by the silkworm. So the cocoon with, I'm sorry. So too have you been able to weave something truly beautiful within the experiences of your life, even those which you no longer need to carry with you as memories or scars, right? So a lot of this clearing and letting go here. It's talking about releasing emotional baggage and taking forward with you the gifts, the wisdom, the talents. Okay. So I'm feeling that with the house 12 being present, because it is a lot of your past life energy, that this is part of you that is wanting to create, perhaps from that state of, how do I want to say that? I'm feeling self discovery, from discovering what those talents are, what those skills are. And you do have the Knight of Pentacles here. The Knight of Pentacles is about slow and steady movement. It's about truly committing ourselves to dedicating our time and energy and efforts into what long-term goals we might have. You also have the Knight of Cups here. Now, knights in general are about action. Doesn't matter what suit they are. They're more the action energy within the court cards. And so the Knight of Cups energy is more or less about leading with the heart. It's about feelings, emotions, intuition, opportunities. And so what else? Yeah, I'm really feeling that those of you that chose this pile want to just live more in your purpose, more aligned with your higher self. So I want to clarify this a little bit more. I'm going to pull some more cards here with this Ace of Wands. And here in this card is so beautiful too, where she's just kind of standing in the water. She's standing in the water here, and there's her reflection, and there's the moon, and it almost kind of looks like the moon is kind of coming down, like the rays are kind of, the light is illuminating and kind of coming down into her crown chakra. She's also got her eyes closed. It gives this very subconscious energy that very tapped into the intuition, memories, remembering, you know. And I'm kind of, especially with the 12th house here, it's really about for some of you, I feel like this is also tapping into your spiritual gifts, you know, feeling inspired to live a more purposeful, like I said, life that's in tune with your intuition, you know. And some of you might be wanting to have more of a, incorporating more practices, rituals, living a more spiritual life. I feel like in general here, you know, but also recognizing that, like I said, you could be going through a lot energetically with a whole bunch of other stuff, and it's just like you want to just feel free of it and be able to then focus on what you really want to create, what you really want to do. You also have she who flows here, ease, being open to change and going with the flow of life. So let's see, what is this Ace of Wands? Look at that, the star. Okay, so the star is about regeneration, renewal, healing, purification. But I'm also noticing how she's kind of holding up this cup, that's water's kind of flowing out of it. And it's almost like she's letting that water kind of come down over her body. But there's also these beautiful pyramids behind her that are kind of perfectly aligned. So again, I'm getting a very spiritual energy from this pile. This star is also about your about your destiny, about wish fulfillment. You know, this could be some type of public fame or public recognition. It could be that you, I mean, it even kind of makes me feel that some of you might want to be doing something that is more out in the public eye. I mean, that could even be following a path of healing. This could be taking on shamanic practices. This could be leading some type of healing ceremonies, rituals, retreats. You know, wanting to help others to heal. With the nervous system, deep breath, right? Breathing, perfect health. I mean, this could even be something where some of you feel inspired to help others to heal, to help others to process their heaviness, their burdens, where you were teaching people how to take steps towards learning to ground themselves. Perhaps you go into some type of spiritual practices or healing modalities that put you in a position where you have many services to offer clients. That's what this this pile feels like, that you're on this path or feeling creatively inspired to live that very spiritual life or to step into that role of being a spiritual healer or leader or shaman, using your intuitive or spiritual gifts, that I feel for many of you with the 12th house being here, that many of you are carrying over from past lifetimes. Okay. And it may even be with the embodying ancient wisdom here that some of you might have, your ancestral line might be, you know, healers. Let's see. What else for this Ace of Wands? You know, and the star energy is Aquarius. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is innovative ways of thinking. So this could even be that the creative ideas that you have are wanting to do something a little different, right? With your healing, with your practices. We have the Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, this Ten of Pentacles is about, can be about generational legacies. So this could be you helping people to heal their family line, their ancestral line, and doing so in a way that is very unique, perhaps some like a new way of doing things, a different way of doing things. It could even be helping people to heal any types of wounds surrounding, or belief systems, I should say, around abundance. Blocks with manifesting wealth, prosperity. And then there, look at that. We have the Eight of Swords. Okay. So I also feel this is where you're healing and clearing as well. The Eight of Swords is about self-limiting beliefs. It's a mental prison of our own doing, our own negative thoughts that kind of keep us blocked. And I'm seeing the Ace of Swords at the bottom, which is the breakthrough. It's clarity. The Ace of Swords can be about an idea, you know? So you could really be even someone who has, you know, I'm really feeling like you're wanting to do some type of spiritual practice, whether it's for yourself or that you are feeling called to step onto that path of helping others, healing others. And this could be even, you know, taking people through hypnotherapy, where you're helping them to tap into their past lives and to release certain belief systems or feelings, emotions, and things that they're kind of carrying over from past lifetimes. Okay? That's what I'm getting from this. Ace of Swords, and there's the Hierophant. Wow. Yeah. The Hierophant is a spiritual leader, teacher, mentor. Okay? Some of you might be having this creative idea of, I want to lead people, I want to mentor people, I want to coach them, I want to be able to share wisdom and knowledge that you've gained. Some of you, the Hierophant might even be a creative dream that you have about going back to school, studying, expanding upon your wisdom and knowledge, maybe expanding upon spiritual studies, learning more about your spiritual gifts, learning how to use them. So it really feels, I love this pile. I love this. Living a more spiritual life, spiritually led life, divinely guided, you know. But also, because you have the forest here, the grounding, it's creating that beautiful balance between your spiritual self and also being present in the material world. Okay? And then we have the universe here, which is the world. So, I mean, many of you might have a creative dream of also wanting to travel. This could even be, traveling to places that will support your spiritual growth, places that have retreats, Costa Rica, um, uh, you know, Colombia, Brazil. Of course, there's many different beautiful places, to visit, but these are just kind of some off the top of my head that I know that I've had friends that have gone and traveled to these places for retreats. Um, Sedona, Arizona, here in the States. Um, Mount Shasta in California. Parts of Mexico, where people go in to connect with shamans there. Um, just all over the place. So many of you might have this idea of wanting to travel, of wanting to, you know, um, maybe even doing something humanitarian, okay? Helping the world, helping the collective, kind of spreading your wisdom, your knowledge, but it's also learning, it's also studying, I feel like, as well. Okay, so I love that. And then you have the Page of Pentacles here with the Knight of Wands right underneath the deck. The Page of Pentacles is feeling that desire to work on maybe like a new creative project. The Knight of Wands is about passion, creativity, motivation, drive. It's also a travel card. So some of you might also have this idea of wanting to travel, of maybe even wanting to live in another place in the world, wanting to maybe live a more nomadic life where you are able to experience living in different places of the world and connecting with the energy in those spaces that you live, the people, learning from people that could mentor you or teach you. So I love this. I love this pile. Okay, so let's get any last messages for you, group 1. Anything else for group 1? Anything else for group 1? We have prudence. It says, don't be lured by the siren song. And I feel like that's important, especially with the 12th house being here, because like I said, Neptune can bring in illusion, delusions, fantasy, escapism. Okay. So we also want to make sure that when we're making choices, this is where grounding your energy is important, because if you're just kind of out of balance, out of alignment, and we're trying to make choices, right? Important life decisions, we don't want to be led into that energy of illusion where something looks like it's a good idea and it may not necessarily be in alignment. So we want to make sure that you're grounded, you're in a clear headspace, and you're tuned into your intuition with what that calling feels, where you're being guided and led. Because if the energy is out of alignment, if we're being burdened by a whole bunch of other influential energies that are making it hard for us to see the path forward, or to be tuned into our intuition, right? Our inner compass, we can very easily be led towards certain things that may not necessarily be what our higher self is trying to tell us, right? So don't be lured by this siren song. Things that are creating this illusion for us and may not necessarily be truly in alignment. So that's going to be important for you to, when you are, right, thinking about those creative ideas that you have, that they are ones that are truly in alignment for you. What else? Meaning, don't really make the impulsive decisions, right? We want to make sure that we feel tapped in, tuned in, um, to the intuition. We have empathy here, and it says there's more beneath the surface. And then you also have direction. Trust your inner compass to find your bearings. Okay. So I feel with this empathy here, if you are, right, having those days where you don't feel quite aligned, because we do, we go through things in life and we just might feel ungrounded some days. And that's okay, right? We're human and we have to kind of honor whatever it is that's coming through. If you are having a difficult day, again, we're taking time to rest, center, ground, maybe spend some time outdoors, go for walks, hiking, spending more time in nature, connecting in with nature more. Because I feel like this is also you honoring yourself, honoring your emotions, letting yourself process, honoring the need for rest, honoring the need for healing, for self-care. Maybe also something important for you as well. Okay. All right. So that is all that I have for you, group 1. I do hope this was helpful for you guys, and I will see you in the next reading. Hi, group 2. So those of you that resonated with this little star, this is going to be a reading today. So we're finding out what creative dream needs your attention. So I might have to cover up some of the cards, but we'll see. Okay, so we have number 50, explore other realms. We have the calling. These are your tarot. We'll save these. We have the law of eternality. It says, live like you are dying. Live like you are dying. And we have the sirens, and it says, use your voice, expansion, and also freedom. Okay. This card is beautiful. It says, move with grace, optimize light, inner and outer forgiveness. Okay. We have Tai Chi rising. Let's see if we can get these in here. We have Aquarius, originality, philanthropy, and progressive imaginings. We have Herd, may your brave call be carried on the wind. Let's see if we can get these all in here. We have the Emperor. The High Priestess, wow. And we have the Sun. Okay. So again, the question is, what creative dream needs your attention? I am feeling for some of you, this is, I'm getting for some of you singing. I know that that's not for everyone, but some of you, I'm getting this power of your voice, that you're feeling that you want to sing, or you want to perhaps do something that really puts you out in, for some of you, in the public eye. Okay. Some of you, I'm feeling a creative dream of writing, okay? Sharing your voice in some way. I love this, the law of eternality, live like you're dying, because I feel that oftentimes, and I feel like we all do this. We always have like a dream, an idea, something that we feel inspired by, and we hold ourselves back. We limit ourselves to whatever that might be. And so we keep saying to ourselves internally, I'll do it later, maybe next year, maybe in a few months. I don't have the resources right now. And continue to kind of put it off for the next day, the next day, the next day. And so we might find ourselves sometimes 5 years later, 10 years later, or, you know, what we feel like a good portion of our lifetime that we've already lived, where we haven't really done the things that we really want to do. And so I feel like exploring other realms, for some of you, this might be a creative dream that you have about traveling, about being able to live in other places in the world. I'm feeling some of you are feeling called to share something with your voice, whether that is sharing wisdom, knowledge, something having to do with communication, getting throat chakra energy. Even her here, with the way that she's kind of tuned in and tapped into, it kind of looks like ancestors and that are all kind of surrounding her here. And it looks, if you look around her throat chakra and then even kind of into her crown, it's all connected into divine. And so I want to look at that a little bit more. But I also acknowledge here that she's got her eyes closed. She's got her eyes closed here. This is just different pictures of her. The Emperor has got its eyes closed. The High Priestess, and then also she kind of looks like they're either closed or she's looking down here. And interesting that you have Tai Chi rising here, where you have the sun, and both of these energies with Tai Chi is your life force energy. And behind these gates here is this beautiful, looks like a sunlight. The sun is Leo energy, okay? And then you also have the Emperor, which is Aries, and then the High Priestess, which is Pisces energy. And I feel like this is you wanting to feel more confident in what it is that you feel called to, and to have more freedom to be able to do the things that you want to do. I do feel some of you literally are being called to live in other parts of the world and experience different cultures and traveling, and kind of moving outside of the space, like maybe say that you live right now, where you feel like you want more, you feel the desire for something more. So I want to look at this a little bit more. I want to pull some more tarot here. And the Aries energy with the Emperor is about leadership. The Emperor is the masculine energy. It is about being strategic, disciplined, taking decisive action. The Emperor has to do with our foundation, our structure, something that we're building. You know, some of you might have a creative dream of being your own boss, owning your own business. Let's see. Some of you are wanting huge change in your life. Massive change. Let's see. The Two of Swords. Okay. Some of you can have multiple ideas that you're trying to decide with, like which path to take, which direction to go in. Could be feeling a little confused, a little stuck. We have the Two of Pentacles here, which is also, Two of Pentacles is when we're juggling options. Okay. Some of you might be wanting to take some kind of action with getting your finances in order, being more stable. Like, what can I do? You might have this idea of wanting to, branch out and do more in life, but also feeling, okay, I need to be able to have the resources to do this. What kind of ideas do I have that can create more wealth, more abundance, more financial security? The Knight of Swords is also a very focused energy. It's very action oriented. It's very swift moving energy. So, yeah, I'm kind of getting like you have like these ideas in your mind that are kind of coming up and you're thinking, okay, what do I need to do? How can I do this? Yeah, and the Seven of Cups, as I say, that is underneath the deck. The Seven of Cups is about having multiple options or many different ideas, many different options. But when we're in the Seven of Cups energy, we could be feeling very confused. We could be feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the amount of opportunities or choices even that are available to us. The ideas that Seven of Cups can also talk about dreams and fantasies. But this card is about analysis paralysis, meaning that we feel so overwhelmed with the many different choices that are available, many different dreams that we might have. We don't know which one to choose, which one is going to be best for us. And so that can lead us to a place of this Two of Swords energy, which is often referred to as stalemate, meaning that we're indecisive and we feel stuck. Okay. What is this High Priestess energy here? Now, the High Priestess is about connecting in with our intuition. And so your intuition could certainly be guiding you into certain directions, certain ideas, your calling, right? Literally, we have the calling here. What is the High Priestess? The Five of Swords. Okay. That's a little challenging. The Five of Swords is self-sabotaging thoughts. And those self-sabotaging thoughts can be ones that do block out the intuition. They might block out, so it kind of makes me feel like what's happening here is that you do have a creative dream, an idea that kind of comes up, but then your ego, the conscious mind, kind of picks apart that idea and tells you all the reasons why you can't do it, why it's not time yet. And so you might feel like you're missing out on so much, that you want to do so much more, but it's kind of like every time you think about an idea, you think of all the reasons why you can't do it, or why it's not time yet, or why it's just not going to happen for you. Okay. Why is the High Priestess here? The Knight of Wands and the Five of Wands. Yeah, so there's a lot of this inner conflict here. So that could be affecting your confidence with just going after and pursuing what your passion is. Why is the Sun here? Some of you, it is travel. Okay, I'm definitely seeing that here. Some of you, it's business, having to do with business, opening your own business. Why is the Sun here? The Hangman. Yeah, so it's kind of like you're putting your happiness or what would make you feel happy like on hold. Or you could be thinking, what am I going to have to sacrifice? What would I have to let go of? And sometimes it's where we have a job that gives us that financial security, but then we might also have a passion that we want to pursue and we're afraid of letting it go. Some of you might have degrees that you've paid a lot of money for and put a lot of time and energy into, or career fields that you've put in a lot of your time and energy, and it's what feels safe, it's what feels secure. And so if pursuing the passion that you have and leaving the comfort zone is scary. And so there could certainly be where you're kind of putting happiness and joy and something that makes you feel alive and like you're truly living on hold, where it's just right outside of your reach. The 10 of Wands. Yeah. So it's definitely holding yourself back. Holding yourself back here. Some of you just want to just be happy. Some of you want to have an idea of like, I want to do more things that make me feel happy in life, that do bring me joy. Doing all the things that you think of doing, especially with the live like you're dying here. And I feel like it's important for us to do that because, I'm sure you've heard the phrase before, tomorrow is never promised. And I know I've seen even videos here on YouTube of coming up in the algorithm of people that are like 80 years old, 85 years old. And, they have like a little video that's like 10 minutes long and they tell you, what they've learned in their 80 years of living. And you hear their stories about, I wish I would have done that more. I wish I would have done this. I wish I could have done that. And then it's like now where they're at that age and they're finally doing that, And so I feel like this is truly not limiting yourself. You could have these dreams and ideas, and then, like I said, having those thoughts that kind of come in that talk you out of it. All the reasons why now is not the right time. So what, can we get a little bit more information, Spirit, here about the calling? Now, of course, because this is a general reading, there's going to be a lot of you that are going to be choosing this pile, but we'll see what's coming through. What is this calling for group 2? We have the Ace of Cups. Wow, 2 aces. So this is new beginnings here, a fresh start. Some of you might have a creative idea of moving to a whole new place, new job, new house. And also for some of you, new love, new experiences in love. Okay. Maybe moving to a place that you're feeling intuitively drawn to and you're just like, wow, I want to live in that place. I want to work in that place. I want to find love in that place. Some of you might be feeling the call to, or the creative dream about healing, about feeling healed so that you could access joy and happiness. Because you may have gone through a lot. You may be holding on to a lot of pain and a lot of heavy energy from your past. And you might just have it like, I wonder what it's like to be happy. I wonder what it's like to experience joy again. I wonder what it's like to experience a healthy relationship, a loving relationship, a job that I love. Right? And so your calling here with the Ace of Pentacles is that new start. It is that new beginning. It is those new opportunities for more abundance, more wealth. Some of you might be feeling called and creatively inspired and dreaming about making more money. Experiencing the love that you've always desired. Okay? And what can certainly hold us back from that? Our own thoughts, right? A lot of the time, because the people that we connect with in our life, especially romantically, they are a reflection of our beliefs. If we believe right? Subconsciously or unconsciously, that we are not worthy of love, we will attract partners that reflect that wound to us. And so if we change and shift into an energy of joy, happiness, and vibrant life force energy, that completely changes our vibration. We then attract souls into our life, situations, people, and create a whole new life, different from what you might be experiencing right now, right? Especially if you have had a love life that hasn't been great, or you're at a job and you're just like, I don't like this anymore, and you're just like not happy with love life, you're not happy with career, you're not happy with all of these choices that we may have made, and you're like, and I'm still not happy, I still don't feel fulfilled, I still don't feel like I'm living my best life, right? So for you, your creative dream is just, for some of you, it could be just scrapping all of it and saying, you know what, done with this job, done with this tired relationship, and, living and thinking this way and limiting myself to what I truly wish to bring into my life. Experiencing connections that are rewarding, that are loving, that are beautiful, that are, maybe changing up the way that we date and what we're looking for, and, so let's see what else here. Yeah, some of you, it's like you could be thinking, okay, I want a loving partner. I want a partner who's emotionally supportive. I want a partner who's emotionally available. I want to feel more nurtured in my relationships. And so that you dreaming of that, right? It's certainly possible for you, but there might be some things that we have to sacrifice. Yes, maybe that means sacrificing, if you're single and dating and you have a person who's hot and cold and who comes in and out of your life, or who, you constantly attract people who are emotionally unavailable, and, you're kind of noticing that there is a part of you inside that has this belief system that you're unworthy, right? So this is a calling to change that. It's a calling to experience love in the way that you're meant to, joy and happiness in the way that you're meant to, the freedom to be able to do what you want to do without letting fears hold you back. Let's see what else. Six of Cups. Yeah. Six of Cups energy as far as the calling here. Six of Cups can some of you be for about healing. It could also be some of you have a dream of connecting with more like-minded souls. Some of you, it is a dream of meeting your soulmate, connecting with your soulmate. Okay, so how can we get ready for that? How can we prepare for that? Right? Can we let go of self-sabotaging thoughts? Can we let go of comparison, competition, jealousy, envy, people who are not providing stability and security? Okay, anything that is not aligned, so that in a way we are showing the universe, I need something more than this. We set boundaries with certain people and situations that are coming into our life that are giving us not what is aligned with what our dream is. If we want to meet the soulmate, right, we have to believe that we're worthy of it. We have to also heal. We have to also elevate our vibration out of the self-sabotaging thoughts, out of victim mentality, out of being defensive, being guarded, having trust issues, because those kind of energies are going to attract love, but they're going to attract from that wounded space, right? Six of Cups is about harmony in relationships, in connections with others, friendships. Some of you might, think, I wish I had a best friend. I wish that I had more people around me that were loving and supportive, that reciprocated my energy, right? The Six of Cups can talk about kindred spirits, soulmate connections, whether romantic or platonic, and also healing your past. You know, some of you might be like, wow, I wonder what it feels like to feel healed. I wonder what it feels like to not carry this stuff from my past any longer, and I could just get back to being myself before all of this stuff happened, before I went through all this trauma, before I went through all this pain that has turned me into a person I don't even recognize anymore, right? So some of you is just kind of, like I said, it could be feeling a call to just kind of let stuff out, to express, to write, to sing, to dance, to, you know, just kind of, for some of you, live a whole new life, create a whole new life for yourself. Okay? And you do have the power to do it. You have to know that and feel that within yourself. Okay? That you're paying attention to that inner voice, that inner calling that is begging for you to, you know, sometimes make a change, right? To take that leap of faith, to take that risk, to do things differently, to dare to step outside of your comfort zone. Okay? I'm going to read this card here, which is Tai Chi Rising, and this is from the Kuan Yin Oracle. And then we'll add on some little extra messages for you guys. Okay. Your energy field is growing stronger, with more spiritual electricity pulsing through your being. Take time to nourish your nervous system as it adjusts, and be gentle with yourself as you adjust to increasing levels of spiritual potency, which gives more impact to your words, actions, and thoughts. Having a big energy field does not necessarily mean that you have a high level of consciousness, but when you do have an exquisite awareness and a beautiful light, it is able to shine more brightly through a larger energy field. Whatever you have within you, a larger energy field will reveal it with greater gusto. You have a special light within you, and the elegance, beauty, and refinement of that light wishes to express itself more potently in the world of forms, so that others may receive healing and refine their light too. You can help teach others about the power of gentleness, that force is not required, and that kindness can be the most healing and powerful balm of all. For this to happen, so now your energy field is growing. It is like having a bigger light globe through which to shine your light, so that it is more visible. As your energy field grows, your words and thoughts have more potency, like getting used to driving a car with more powerful engine. Take your time and be careful as you realize the impact that your actions and thoughts will have in the world of forms now. You do not need to worry about this. You can go into your heart and trust that you will exercise your will and potency in the world through surrendering into your heart, where your own Kuan Yin nature will guide you into compassion and right action. Let your energy field continue to grow through chanting, meditation, energy work, and healing, and whatever else intuitively feels right for you. This oracle is confirmation that the growth is happening and needs to happen for you now, so that you are able to do your life's work most effectively. Okay? So this is your life force energy, right? Rising within you, allowing you to feel higher vibrational energy, especially with the Sun card being here. The Sun card is joy, happiness, abundance, bringing certain things to completion, and the confidence to be able to do it. Having success in your life, right? And again, how can we bring about more of that success? It is the Emperor energy, right? Strategy, focus, discipline, organization of the ideas, creating a plan, sticking to it, right? Getting things in order, getting our priorities in order, so that you are able to then take advantage of those new opportunities. okay? Or know where to look, right? In new spaces and places, maybe for some of you that you're wanting to journey to. But it's also about changing your perspective, overcoming fear and those things that limit you from living your best life, especially with that live like you're dying card here, right? What are you waiting for? Right? And then whatever message kind of comes up first within you as to what that reason is that you're waiting for, is that coming from a place of fear? Is it coming from a place of a lack of confidence in yourself? Okay. Where would that be coming from? All right. So maybe there's a pattern here, right? For some of you might be acknowledging that there's a pattern, that every time you think of an idea, you're like, nope, can't do it. Can't do this, can't do that. We get so trained in that way of thinking of no, 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 not going to happen. No. That there's a need for you to change, right? Change the way in we're looking at something, perceiving, because those old habits are hard for us to break free from, right? What creative dream needs your attention? Group 2. Any other messages for group 2? We have prudence. Don't be lured by the siren song. Okay. Group 1 got this too. And basically what this message here is, I feel like in your case, because of the negative thinking here, when it comes to your creative dreams, whatever they might be, it's not getting caught up in the negativity. It's not following that cycle or that pattern that you might have about talking yourself out of things, right? As long as we can think of, okay, this is the plan, this is what needs to happen, this is what I need to get done, and start taking the lead, right? Start taking that first step towards that. And also making sure that we're not getting lured in by things that we think are going to bring us happiness. You know, sometimes we think, oh, well, if I move to that place, I'll be happier. If I do this, if I make more money, I'll be happier. That's not true. Right? Because if we're acting upon, say, the ego's desire for more money, more this, more that, that happiness is going to be very short-lived. We might get excited, right, about the idea of, oh, well, if I do this, it's going to make me more money and then it's going to make me happy. But we're still left with ourselves, right? If you're someone who feels hurt by certain things from the past, money is not going to be the band-aid that fixes it, right? As soon as that excitement wears off, you're left with you, right? I've done many readings for people that have it all, okay? That have it all, that are millionaires, that have multiple businesses, that have amazing dream careers, and then they tell me, I'm not happy. Because sometimes those choices that we make, what we think, right, is going to make us happy, is going to make us feel successful. Sometimes a lot of those things are very ego-driven, and they're not living from the soul. And so we might lack fulfillment and true joy and happiness from something where we've led a soul-driven life versus an ego-driven life. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, certain things that the ego desires isn't something that we should have and experience. Yes. Okay. But don't let that be the motivating force of energy your entire life, because you might find that, okay, yeah, I've got the amazing job. I'm making good money. I bought the house that I wanted. I live in the perfect area, but I'm still not happy. Right? And that's where we need to really look deeply within the self into what it is that your soul is calling you to do, asking you to do. Okay. What else for group 2? Recharge. There's nothing like a walk on the beach to soothe your soul. So that could be maybe for some of you spending time, go for a walk, right? Especially if you're feeling stuck, you're feeling confused, you're feeling a little blocked, feeling a little overwhelmed. You can't focus. There's creative blocks there. Spend time in nature. Okay, whatever you've got. If you live in a busy city, try to venture a little outward. Go for a walk maybe in a quieter space, or, if you're fortunate enough to live out in the country, or, by a lake, by a river, by the ocean, by the mountains, the forest, a park that you could go to. Okay? And then we have optimism here. It says, after each rainstorm, there will be clear skies. So this could be, the rainstorm could be symbolic of certain things that are happening in our life. Okay? Where during those times of the rainstorm, maybe we're not thinking the most positive. Maybe we're thinking negative, about something. And so the clear skies can be the clarity of the mind. We do have the Hangman here, which is about shifting your perspective, taking a step back, looking at things from the outside in versus when we're in our head and overthinking something, overanalyzing it, and learn to be more optimistic. Okay? All right. So that is all that I have for you. Group 2. I do hope this was helpful for you guys, and I will see you in the next reading. Hi, Group 3. So those of you that resonated with this little shell here, this is going to be your reading today. So we're finding out what creative dream needs your attention. So if you're wanting to know what tarot oracle decks I'm using, I always list them in the description box located right underneath the video for you guys. So let's see. We have Become the Master You Seek, card number 32. We have Open Channel. Let's put these down here. The Law of Action. It says, get out of your comfort zone and take bold action today. Metamorphosis. Embrace transformation. Things are now different. Things are now different. We have Earth Walk. Reorientation, collective wisdom, and natural healing. Okay, let's see how we're going to fit these. We've got water, spirituality, emotion, intuition, and compassion. We have persist. May your ripples build the swell. Okay. And then we have Empress of the Pearl. I am going to have to cover this up a little bit. Empress of the Pearl, number 10. And I think there's one of your tarot cards, that I'm going to have to cover up here, but we've got the other ones I can show. We have the Page of Wands, the Nine of Pentacles, and then we have the Lovers. Okay. That might not be big enough. The Lovers. Okay. Okay, so our question again is, what creative dream needs your attention? What creative dream needs your attention? Okay, so you do have the Lovers here. The Lovers is about making a choice, making a big life decision. And the Nine of Pentacles here is about feeling stable, secure, independent, financially secure, independent, self-sufficient, being self-made. Perhaps for some of you, you might have a creative dream of being an entrepreneur, being your own boss, creating your own wealth and own abundance. And that could be through pursuing some type of creative passion that you have, because you do have the Page of Wands here. The Page of Wands is about excitement, enthusiasm, infinite creative potential. It could be pursuing a creative passion or idea that you have. It's about journeying. It's about adventure, exploring, discovery. And so I feel that with the open channel here, and then you also have water, both of these remind me a lot of you connecting into your intuition, into your creative energy, and where you're being intuitively guided. And for some of you with the law of action here, you know, the dream that you have is something that does require you to take that first step, to make the decision to pursue whatever that is. Metamorphosis, about change, right? Transformation. And it says embrace transformation. Things are now different. So in one way, we can choose to think about things in a different way. And what I mean by that is, let's just say that we're at a place in our life where things have not been so great. And we're really kind of sinking into that moment of thinking about all the things that are going wrong and how things are not exactly the way that we want them to be. And we're just kind of sitting within that energy, and that energy can lead to, say, stagnancy, indecision, being pessimistic, negative thinking. And so this, I feel like, for the embracing transformation, is that you choose to, instead of accepting that as your reality that you're not quite happy with, that you choose to change it. You choose to take that first step towards things are now different, that we're no longer going to do what we've always done, right? In the times that we've been unhappy and unfulfilled and things not quite aligned with the way we want them to. This is where you take control back. This is where you take that first step, and you take yourself back into Page of Wands energy, which the pages in the tarot, they represent new beginnings, the inception of something. So with the wands are all about spiritual energy. They're about action, passion, creativity, the momentum that is gained, the drive, the excitement, the putting forth the energy to making something happen. And so if we can choose to say, okay, this is the way that life has been, but right here, right now, in this moment, things are different. I'm going to do things different. I'm going to think about things differently. I'm going to create differently than the way that I have in the past. Okay? And it's making the decision to do just that. We can either still keep ourselves on that path that we might not be happy with, or we can choose to do it different. And so I feel like that with things are now different, to me, this is also you making this up in your mind. You reinforcing the idea and new belief systems that support that new creative idea that you're trying to create, right? Because it's very easy for us to say, no, I'll stay in the comfort zone. This feels safe. This feels secure. Or we can choose to allow ourselves to truly open up into what the intuition is calling us to do. We have become the master that you seek. And so I feel like this is you being a master of your own energy, but I feel like it's also you being the leader of your own life, right? You might say to yourself, oh, I wish there was a sign, or I wish that somebody could help me with this, or help to guide me, help to lead you. But truly, it's like you have this information within you. Your intuition is your inner compass throughout life to help you to pursue the things that you really want to. So this is you stepping into your own mastery. This is you stepping into and taking control of your life and deciding with these decisions that you make. And you're doing so in a place that feels more aligned, where you feel more confident about your decisions because you know you're trusting, you're learning to trust your intuition, right? We have this energy of persist here. It says, may your ripples build the swell. And all these ripples might be like, maybe let's just say the fluctuation of the mind and, but you allow this energy to build and build and build. And even with that, you persist with what it is that you're choosing to do, right? We have the earth walk here, reorientation, collective wisdom, and natural healing. And when I think about that, especially with things that are now different, this is where you kind of change the mindset, right? And now as we do the earth walk, I think of you kind of going down this little path here, but kind of looking at things differently, different than the way that we have been. So we can say, okay, what is existing in my reality right now? How do I want it to shift? How do I want it to change? What's going on over here? Do I like the job? Do I like this relationship? Do I like this friendship? And so it gives you a chance to say, okay, what can we let go of? What can we release? What can we remove? And start to add in things that do bring us more joy, that do bring more inspiration here. So I want to look at this Empress of the Pearl, which is from the Kuan Yin Oracle, number 10. Let's see. Yeah, and 10s are about completion, the ending of a cycle. So let's see. And the Lovers is also about making a choice of the heart. What does your heart desire? Group 3. What does your heart desire? Maybe it's wanting to feel more confident in yourself so that you are able to effortlessly move out of your comfort zone, to learn to trust yourself. Like you could say to yourself, I wish I could trust myself more. I wish I could trust my intuition, because then I could just go and allow myself to journey, allow myself to explore. Some of you, this could quite literally be about travel. Wanting to feel more financially secure so that you could, right, have the freedom to travel a little more. Okay, so Empress of the Pearl, it says, you have an inner gift of great value, born of struggle, adversity, and challenge. In wisdom, you know that suffering can lead to growth, provided we are willing to search for a way to heal through it. Seeing challenges as ways to expand your spiritual light empowers you to focus on the growing light rather than getting caught up in suffering. Natural pearls are rare, lustrous, feminine gems, created within a living organism, the pearl oyster. They have a unique creation process. Natural pearls are created when a foreign entity, such as a grain of sand or parasite, finds its way into the pearl oyster. The oyster reacts and creates layers of pearlescent substance, creating a warmly glowing treasure within. Just like the beautiful and rare natural pearl, you have a unique spiritual beauty to offer the world. Your pearl is a precious gift, something unique that is being born through your experiences and consciousness that cannot be created or copied by another because it is your own unique soul light. Any struggles you have experienced that are a karmic gift to help you grow in this inner exquisite offering to support your spiritual evolution of humanity. Once you recognize this, you can dispense with your struggles more swiftly, using them to help you grow and not adding unnecessary energy or focus to the problem, which might make it grow instead. If you have found yourself attracting negative energies from those around you, or perhaps feeling drained or sometimes even possessed by negative thoughts or experiences, you don't have to feel afraid. You can heal with Kuan Yin now, allowing that which is stirred up within you to begin forming the beautiful gift you have to share. Just as the pearl starts from irritation and reaction, So are the circumstances in your life which feel uncomfortable serving you to help you grow your gift. It is time to realize that your soul is growing, luster and beauty to share with the world. Once you realize this, your struggles become less and your soul light becomes even more luminous. This makes me feel that some of you have maybe led a life that has been filled with a lot of challenge, a lot of adversity, a lot of struggle, maybe even trauma. And so some of you might feel called to share this even in a creative, expressive way. And that could be something that brings in abundance, right? And creativity is boundless. It's endless in the ways that you're able to creatively express yourself. Here, she looks like she's dancing. But I'm feeling for some of you, this might be writing. You know, you might be feeling called to share your story in some way, the story of your life, your experiences. Whether that is through song, dance, poetry, writing a book, creating a podcast, even sharing your struggles and how you healed from them and have stepped into a place of your own mastery. And then you feel called to, you have this creative idea of wanting to share that with other people to inspire them to change, to grow, to evolve. You know, you could be teaching people how to overcome their own negative thinking. You could be feeling inspired to coach people, to mentor them, to counsel them, to maybe even provide some type of therapy or some type of healing in some way. Okay, so I want to look at this Page of Wands a little bit more. Some of you, this could be healing. Some of you might be able to, some of you have very powerful spiritual gifts, okay? And you might be divine channels of wisdom and knowledge that your spirit team brings to you, your ancestors, and you are able to receive downloads and information that you're meant to share, okay, in some way. What is this Page of Wands here? Page of Pentacles. Yep. So Page of Pentacles is working on a creative project, starting something new, so like a passion project. Okay. And of course, this is a general reading, so it's going to be different, you know, for all of you. But this is what we're asking Spirit today, what creative dream needs your attention? There is some type of passion project that your intuition has been trying to get your attention. Some of you know exactly what it is, because you've already been feeling your intuition kind of drawing you into that space. I'm hearing some of you retreat, like wanting to host retreats for people. Let's see what else. What is this Page of Wands here? Or even going to a retreat, a healing retreat. Six of Swords. Okay. The Six of Swords is about moving on. It's also about moving away from a very chaotic time in your life. Maybe a situation, could be a job, relationship, something that's just creating a lot of chaotic energy for you. And the Six of Swords is a transition to peace, calm. You know, some of you could be feeling inspired to move. Okay, this could be moving, traveling, relocating. Maybe if you have a current living situation right now where you want to be more independent, you want to live on your own, you want to be able to financially support yourself and not depend on anybody else. And if you're kind of like, let's just say if you live with family members, you live with, I don't know, maybe for some of you it's like living with a specific person right now. Like if you're married and you're unhappy, or you've been in a long-term relationship and you've been unhappy, and you're like, okay, well, I want to be on my own. I want to make my own money. I want to get my own job, So those could be things that you need to focus on here, where you have to take that first step, right? Maybe that means applying for jobs. Maybe that means taking that first step towards building financial security for yourself. Maybe it means opening your business or applying for that job. Some of you, if you want to make that move happen, maybe that means that we need to find a better paying job. Maybe it means that we're needing to look at our dream location that we want to live in and then see what career opportunities are available for us there. Okay. But yeah, some of you could be in I don't know, maybe like a relationship, a marriage, or living with family, maybe a living situation. Maybe you live with roommates and you're just like, oh, I want to live by myself. I want to have my freedom. I want to just kind of do my own thing. Okay, well, what are we going to do with that, right? The Page of Wands is feeling that enthusiasm, the passion behind doing something. And then the Page of Pentacles is planting the seed for it, right? How can we plant that seed? Of course, it's going to mean something different to each of you, but it's taking that first step. It's looking at that pentacle that we have and say, okay, where am I going to put this? What am I going to do with this, right? What's the first step that I need to take? Let's pull one more here. Justice. I have to cover this one up a little bit. Justice. Justice is about making a decision, but justice has to do with making a decision for our highest good. Okay, some of you with this Justice card here, you might, I don't think this is for everyone, I feel like this is very specific. Some of you might feel called to do something. This could be ending some kind of contract for some of you, moving away from some type of contract. Now, that contract could be symbolic of a contract literally that you have, like say with a place that you rent or lease, the place that you live in, and you're wanting to kind of get out of the contract, right? Or decide, okay, well, once this lease is up, I'm not signing a new contract in this space. I'm going to move to a new place. Some of you, this could be about legal situations. Okay. And if you do, you have something ongoing with legal stuff right now. Maybe this means feeling the desire to reach out to someone who could provide the insight, the wisdom, the knowledge, the counsel that you need to help to make this something successful for you, right? Where you like, let's just say it has to do with the law in some way, or some type of documents, contracts, legal court cases, things of that nature, where you want things to turn out fair for you. I mean, that could even be a marital contract, where you, maybe for some of you, filing for divorce, and you're wanting to be independent, you're wanting to separate yourself from someone, or you're wanting money. Like, let's just say you're somebody who has a child with somebody else and you're not with that person anymore, and you're just like, I need to be better supported financially. I need to, if you have children with someone and there's child support that needs to be paid, that could be you saying, okay, maybe it's time to get a lawyer. Maybe it's time to work with some type of attorney to help me through this legal situation and to help to improve things. Okay. For some of you, it could be about making sure that things are fair and balanced for you. Meaning, if the job that you have right now is not really paying you enough, then you could be asking yourself, is this fair for me? Is this balanced? Or a relationship that you might be a part of, a friendship that you might have in your life, and really asking yourself if it is meeting your needs, or if you're the person who always gives and gives and you feel like you're not receiving anything in return. Okay, so that could be living a life or feeling guided to live a life that is a lot more in alignment for you, a lot more balanced. Some of you might feel called to paths of working for defending people, for, that could be some type of activism where you want to protect people or certain organizations that you can work for. You want to donate some of your time to helping causes that are important to you, where people are treated fairly and there's justice in where there has been injustice for you, your family, or even other, like I said, important causes that are important to you. That could be something that you feel called to do, is start something, begin something that's going to help other people. Maybe it's an organization, a charity, or some type of business that you want to create that helps people. Okay? Some of you might literally want to work in fields that are criminal justice, legal, law enforcement, judges, lawyers, attorneys, a mediator, a person who helps people with their relationships, like a counselor, a marital counselor, or a therapist of some kind. Okay? And I feel that especially for those of you that have had very challenging lives, and maybe especially where relationships has been a focus, that you could be someone who has these gifts that Spirit is talking about here. Like I said, for some of you, sharing your story, or maybe a specific type of relationship where there has been some type of injustice, where you weren't treated well, and it's kind of like now you are moving into a space where you can then give back in some way. Okay? That's what I'm getting from this. Okay, let's see. What else for you, group 3? What else for group 3? Explorer. Look at that. Okay, so Explorer says maps show what has already been discovered. Go another way. Choose wisely, be discerning. You don't have to keep everything in your net, right? So this is basically you choosing very carefully what you want to bring into your life, right? Again, with the Earth Walk here, we look around. Okay, what have we created? What is within our reality right now? Are we happy with everything? And this is being super honest with yourself. What are the things that you wish you could change? And then taking that inspiration to change that and stepping outside of the comfort zone to do just that. Okay? And then we have change here. Know when to move to a new shell, right? Right? This one's empty. Know when to move to a new shell, especially if yours no longer fits. Right? If it's a relationship, the job, a bad habit that you have. Okay? This is just, I feel like, kind of taking some time to do a little bit of reevaluation, right? Of everything that you are part of, everything that you give your time and your energy to in your life. And to ask yourself, does this add value? Is it causing me more stress, pain, suffering than anything else? And then this gives you a chance to take back control of your life, not let other people to influence your decisions and what you choose to have in your life and what you choose to do with your life and the choices that you make, and let them be your own. right? Letting go of people pleasing. You know, kind of doing your own thing, being more independent, being more free, certainly. Okay. I actually feel like I want to clarify this a little bit before we go, group 3. What is this Lover's energy here? Two of Swords. Okay, so there is a decision here. The Empress. Wow. And the Knight of Wands. Yeah, many of you, this is also about abundance. Creating more wealth and abundance within your life, because the Nine of Pentacles is about financial independence. I want to be more financially free could be something that you're really wanting to do. More financial freedom. More streams of income. So the Empress is a very creative energy. Incredibly creative. The Empress also has to do with beauty, body, self-love, unconditional love. You know, some of you might want to experience a new relationship, you know, especially if the relationship situation that you have right now is not really making you feel emotionally fulfilled or nurtured. Relationships that don't nourish your soul. So this could be feeling inspired to just change things up, you know, and for some of you that have been very hurt or wounded from past relationships, the Empress is also about you learning to love yourself, taking better care of yourself, learning to love and accept yourself as exactly as you are, and also about knowing your worth. Okay? Knowing your worth. And so manifesting things that we really desire here within our life, living a more abundant life, living a life that is filled with beautiful connections, right? It starts within you, right? It starts within you. So this is you shifting into maybe say a more abundant mindset, or knowing what your worth is and letting go of any people or situations in your life that don't truly value you. That is you loving yourself. That is you respecting yourself. That is you having boundaries, right? With who you choose to be a part of your life, right? You got to choose wisely here. Be discerning. You don't have to keep everything in your net, right? Everything that is in your life right now at this time. Take some time to write down a list, right, of those things that you have in your life right now, and maybe rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. How happy am I with this job, with this relationship, with this friendship, with this family, or my living situation, or the place that I live? If you're not, let's just say at least an 8 on that scale. 9, 10. What are we doing? Right? Are we going to accept that as the reality, or know that where this is Spirit saying here, you truly do have the power to change it, to create? The Empress is about fertility, about birthing and creating something new. So the Knight of Wands is about passion, motivation, action. Okay, the drive, the energy that you feel to create. And this is more creating from the space of your heart, the things that are genuinely important to you. I want to experience this in my life. Let's take that first step. Let's start small, right? With the Page of Pentacles energy, plant the seed for it. Okay, right? This is also about nurturing those things. Nurturing those seeds. is also something here. Now, justice also is 7th house energy, which is Libra, which has to do with our relationships. So for many of you, this could be having relationships, like having a dream of having relationships in your life that are more nurturing, whether they are family ones, your coworkers, your friends, your romantic partners, and wanting to have that life that is more from a space of the heart, loving, supportive, compassionate, caring, nurturing, kindness, gentleness. Again, this starts from within you. Okay, this could be you working on, for some of you, healing the feminine energy, healing your mother wound, really learning to nurture yourself, removing yourself from people, situations, places that are just creating chaotic energy for you. Okay. All right. So that is all that I have for you, group 3. I do hope this was helpful for you guys, and I will see you in the next reading.